Hello everyone. First of all, welcome to your first flipped classroom video. This is traditionally how I'll set things up. Just a bit of an overview. Again, this current video will be due by Monday night before midnight. Okay, but after this week, it'll be due every Sunday night, again before midnight. Okay. Again, you can submit this on Google Classroom, which I'll have. I'll set up a link for you to submit this current notes for you individually. Okay, so what we're doing today, at least the objectives today, we're going to start with defining what an algebraic expression is. Next, we're going to expand and simplify expressions using distributive property. Number 3, we're going to evaluate and simplify expressions. And number 4, we're going to do order of operations. Order of operations actually is sprinkled through each of these topics. So the good thing is you've done most of this in previous years. So this should be a quick review for you guys. All right, so what is an algebraic expression? So an algebraic expression is simply what I have here, right? This is an expression and not an equation, since this is not equal to anything, right? It could be 8, it could be something else. Okay, so what is an algebraic expression? Okay, well this is an example of an algebraic expression. An algebraic expression is constants and variables being connected by operations. What I mean by operations is a plus or a minus, okay? So this is an example of an expression. The reason this is not an equation is because, well, it's not equal to anything, right? Could be 8x, could be 8, could be anything that I put on the other side of the equal sign, okay? So with this expression, we're gonna go ahead and practice something that you should be aware of, which is called the distributive property, okay? Now this is more of a complicated expression that you probably wanna work inside out, okay? So what I mean by that is look within the parentheses. Again, you're following order of operations. Order of operations tells you to work on the parentheses first. Well, you've got 2 of them. One on the outside, one on the inside. You want to work inside out, okay? So if you're working inside out, here's where we're working first. Look for anything that you can combine. In this case, x, -1, y, they cannot be combined. So we'll have to think of something else, okay? We're going to have to use our distributive property. So we're distributing -5 to x, to -1, and to y. Notice I said -5, okay? Always look for the symbol in front of, in this case, your constant, okay? So I'm distributing -5 to each of these terms, which I'll do right now. Okay, so you get -5x plus 5 minus 5y, okay? I'm going to go ahead and drop your 6x. This is essentially what I have, again, in the broad parentheses since I finished this, okay? Make sure you don't forget about the 3 at the end. And again, order of operations, okay? Look within the parentheses first. In this case, I can combine. Okay, I can combine my 6x and 5x, okay, or in this case, subtract. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and simplify one more time. X plus 5 minus 5y. We're going to use the distributive property one more time. Again, this is going to all 3 of these terms. And I end up getting, well, 3x, 3 times 5 is 15, 3 times negative 5y is negative 15y, okay? This is perfectly fine. What I would do if I were you is I would put your variables first and then your constant. So what I mean by that is 3x and then minus 15y and then plus 15, okay? This is traditionally how algebraic expressions are written. Your variables first and then your constant. All right, so in this example we have, we're kind of expanding on distributive property. So again, it does not matter whether I distribute here first or here first. We'll start here with x. So again, I'm going to distribute this x towards both terms. Again, if we could have combined something here, we would have, and here as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and distribute. That would end up being 4x. X times y is simply xy. Okay, we'll go ahead and distribute on this side as well. Okay, remember this is a negative 2x, not a positive 2x. We're distributing that negative as well. So negative 2x times y is negative 2xy. Negative 2x times 7 is negative 14x. We gotta decide what we can combine and what we can't, right? We can combine 4x and negative 14x. That would end up being negative 10x. Okay, we can also combine xy and also negative 2xy. That would simply just end up being negative xy. Okay, so here's how much, as far as the extent we can simplify. All right, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and evaluate expressions. We've got negative a times what this is in parentheses, a squared plus 2a minus 1. And whenever we see a, we're going to substitute it with 2. Okay? So when you do substitute, just remember to put this in parentheses, which I'll do whenever I do see a. So 2 for a, here as well, here as well. Let me drop everything down. Everything else stays the same. Okay, all right. We need to simplify. We need to follow order of operations. We're going to work the parentheses first. What's in the parentheses? Well, exponent. We're going to go ahead and simplify that first. 2 squared is 4. Well, are we going to subtract first or are we going to multiply? Again, PEMDAS, multiplication comes first. And then we can subtract later. Okay, again, work within the parentheses. 4 plus 4 minus 1. Again, PEMDAS, A or S, or addition or subtraction, whatever comes first when you're reading from left to right. In this case, addition comes first. So we're going to add 4 and 4, that's 8. And then subtract, that would end up being 7. Okay, now we can go ahead and do our last step. This would equal negative 14. Okay, that's negative 14 when you have substituted 2 for a. The last thing we're going to learn is order of operations. Now I've been doing order operations throughout this lesson, but here I'm just going to work on it explicitly, just so it's kind of ingrained in your brain. You probably learned order of operations was through PEMDAS, right? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I would write it like this because when you get to multiplication or division or addition or subtraction, whichever comes first from when you're reading from left to right, you will do first. Okay, so you'll see an example of that in this problem. Okay, now we've got a square root of 5 squared minus 9. That kind of sticks out to me. We've got to do parentheses first. We treat square root as a grouping, so we'll go ahead and do this first, along with this parentheses as well. Okay, now let's go ahead and simplify. 5 squared, again, we're working within this. 5 squared would be 25. Okay, let me go ahead and replace that with 25. So 25 minus 9, again, 25 minus 9 would end up being 16. Okay, well, square root of 16 would just end up being 4. Let me drop everything else down. okay? We might as well work on this now. 13 minus 10, again, we're working within parentheses first. 13 minus 10 is 3. Okay, so we've got 4 plus 4 times 3 minus 3. Okay, we don't need this parentheses anymore. Okay, now what are we going to do? Are we going to multiply? Are we going to add? Are we going to subtract? Again, simply just follow PEMDAS. We've done parentheses, right? There's no more parentheses. There's no more exponents. However, we do have multiplication. Again, multiplication comes before addition or subtraction, so multiplication takes precedence. So that's 4 times 3, that's 12. Drop everything else down. Again, are we going to add first or subtract? Well, we're done with multiplication. There's no more of this. Are we going to add or subtract first? Well, simple rule is whatever you see first, reading from left to right, you do first, right? In this case, addition comes first. So that's 16. 4 plus 12 is 16 minus 3. This ends up being 13. Okay? All right, class. So these are your following practice problems. Okay. So again, you've taken down your notes. You're kind of on your own with these. So do your best with these 2 problems. Once you've done with this, and then again, you can take a photo of your notes and submit onto Google Classroom. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys later.